Hello, today we'll study about three-tier government system. In 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1992, the three-tier government system was added. In 73rd Amendment Act of 1992, it gave constitutional recognition to the panchayats, that is, rural local governments, and added Part 9 and Schedule 11 to the Constitution. 74th Amendment Act of 1992 gave constitutional recognition to the municipalities, that is, urban local governments, and added Part 9A and new Schedule 12 to the Constitution. Cooperative societies. 97th Constitutional Amendment Act of 2011 gave a constitutional status and protection to cooperative societies. Means cooperative societies was added by 97th Constitutional Amendment Act of 2011. It also added Part 9B in the Constitution containing the cooperative societies. That comes under Article 243 ZH to 243 ZT. Now, looking to criticism of the Constitution. So, our Constitution is said to be a borrowed Constitution. It consists of patchwork of several documents of the World Constitution. Like it has borrowed concurrent list from Australia, directive principles from some other country, then parliamentary form of government from Britain. So it is known as borrowed constitution. Now it is also known as carbon copy of 1935 Act, because large number of constitution provisions of the Government of India Act of 1935 was added into the Constitution of India. Hence they call the Constitution as a carbon copy of 1935 Act, or an amended version of 1935 Act. An un-Gandhian constitution. Why? Because it does not contain the philosophy and ideals of Mahatma Gandhi, who was the father of nation. Elephantine size, it's too bulky. Parasites of the lawyers. According to this, our constitution is very complicated and un-Indian or anti-Indian, because it does not reflect the political traditions and the spirits of India. We'll look some key statements regarding our constitution. First, some of the these statements were given by different people there. And Srinivasan observed that the Indian constitution is both in language and substance a close copy of Act of 1935. Sir Ivor Jennings, who was a British constitutionalist, said that the constitution derives directly from the Government of India Act of 1935, and many of its provisions are copied almost textually. P.R. Deshmukh, who was also the member of Constituent Assembly, commented that the constitution is essentially the Government of India Act of 1935 with only adult franchise added to it. K. Hanumanthaya, who was also the member of Constituent Assembly, commented, "We wanted the music of Veena or sitar, but here we have the music of an English band. That was because our constitution makers were educated that way." Loknath Mishra criticized the constitution as a slavish imitation of the West, much more a slavish surrender to the West. Lakshmikant Sahu observed that about Constituent Assembly, that the ideals on which this draft constitution is framed have no manifest relation to the fundamental spirit of India. The constitution would not provide suitable and would break down soon after being brought into the operation. K. Hanumanthaya also said that it is exactly that the kind of constitution Mahatma Gandhi did not want and did not envisage. T. Prakasam, who was also the Constituent Assembly member, told that this lapsed to Ambedkar's non-participation in the Gandhian movement and antagonism towards the Gandhian ideas. Sir Ivor Jennings, who was also the British constitutionalist, observed that the provision borrowed were always well selected, and that the constitution, generally speaking, was too long and complicated. H.V. Kamath, who was also the member of Constituent Assembly, told that the emblem and the crest that we have selected for our assembly is an elephant. It is perhaps in consonance that our constitution too is the bulkiest that the world has produced. He also said, I am sure the House does not agree that we should make the constitution an elephantine one. Sir Ivor Jennings also called it a lawyer paradise. H.K. Maheshwari, the draftsman, tends to make people more litigious, more inclined to go to law courts, less truthful, and less likely to follow the methods of truth and non-violence. If I may also say, the draft is really a lawyer's paradise. It opens up vast avenues of litigation and will give our able and ingenious lawyers plenty of work to do. Now, next is P.R. Deshmukh's statements about Constituent Assembly. He said, I should, however, like to say that the draft of the articles that have been brought before the House by Dr. Ambedkar seems to my mind to be far too ponderous, like the ponderous tomes of a law manual. A document dealing with a constitution hardly uses so much of padding and so much of verbiage. Perhaps it is difficult for them to compose a document which should be, to my mind, not a law manual but a socio political document, a vibrating, pulsating, and life giving document. But to our misfortune, that was not to be. We have been burdened with so much of words and words which could have been very easily eliminated. Now we will study about some important key points of different articles and parts. The first one is part 7, that was deleted by 7th Amendment Act of 1956. Part 4A and part 14A was added by 42nd Amendment Act of 1976, that is also known as mini constitution. Part 9A was added by 74th Amendment Act of 1992. Part 9B was added by 97th Amendment Act of 2011. Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act of 2019 bifurcated erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir into two separate union territories, namely Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. Originally, Constitution provided for 7 fundamental rights. However, right to property that comes under Article 31 was deleted from the list of fundamental rights by the 44th Amendment Act of 1978. It was made legal right under Article 300A in Part 12 of Constitution. 44th Amendment Act of 1978 has replaced the original term internal disturbances by the new term armed rebellion. Part 9 of the Constitution provides for a three-tiered system of Panchayati Raj in every state, that at the village level, at intermediate level, and at district levels. Part 9A of the Constitution provides for three types of municipalities, that is Nagar Panchayat, Municipal Council, and Municipal Corporation. That's all. Thank you.